It is so fantastic to see all your beautiful faces in the room with us today. Before I kind of jump into things, though, I wanted to thank the United Way team. I recently went through kind of a little bit of an injury. We can talk about that offline. But the team and the board just leaned in a really significant way to help. And I think that is an amazing reflection of who they are as people. That's what we do all day, every day, is lean in and help others. And we couldn't do it without all of you in the room today. So excited. It's going to be a fun kickoff. I've got some really great people to hear from, and just delighted you'd start your day with us. So want to thank Mayor Ewing. Look at him rocking the shirt. It was really fun to have community members be part of our hype video to get things going this morning, and we'll be utilizing that throughout the week. Appreciate you, Mayor. Always stand up and help. Today, you're going to hear from our campaign chair, Paul Mace, who has been a longtime friend and just a really amazing person. You can give him your sympathy because he just came off of being board chair, and now he's campaign chair. There's a lot behind that too that, again, we probably should talk about at another time. But he's just jumping in with both feet with his beautiful wife, Julie, to help us out and make sure we have a really successful year. We've got a lot of momentum right now at United Way. We have more companies, donors, and community partners that are looking to us to help connect people and resources to strengthen the community and address the needs that are complex and interconnected. And things are really complex right now. We just are seeing quite a bit in the community and more calls into 211. Lots and lots of challenges that we need to be there for. So we're gathering at a time where we're seeing demand increase and changes in funding are creating pressures on those support systems that many individuals and families are counting on every single day in our community. In today's environment, the rising demand and shifting resources, United Way is really honored to be your trusted partner, adapting alongside community, connecting resources, strengthening community support, and responding when needs emerge. And looking around this room is a powerful example of community in action. Companies, nonprofits, donors, and volunteers coming together to show up with care and commitment to ensure that our community has a strong network of essential services. Sometimes that means that we're investing in the most effective local nonprofits and organizations that are delivering meaningful results. Other times that means identifying critical gaps and bringing public, private, and nonprofit partners together in new ways to respond. Together, we support more than 150 local programs, initiatives, and direct services that address 4 impact areas: healthy community, youth opportunity, financial security, and community resiliency. This focus helps create a safety net that's rooted in partnership and a deep understanding of the issues. Currently, 1 in 4 families in our community cannot afford a $400 emergency expense. And our partners across the community report increased demand for food, housing, transportation, mental health, and more. The need is significant, and there's a real urgency for us to act together. And that's why today is so important. Collaboration is really at the heart of this work. And as we kick off this year's campaign, we have an opportunity to show what's possible when we bring our collective resources, relationships, and generosity together. That is one of the things that makes United Way unique. Whether you come to this work as a company, donor, nonprofit partner, or volunteer, your continued support helps ensure essential services remain within reach for people across the metro. So I hope you're excited to learn more about how your actions are really making a significant difference in our community, and how each of us can build on that impact during this year's campaign by giving, volunteering, and making connections and inviting others to join us. So we have an incredible program ahead for this morning, including a chance to hear from Paul, and also under his leadership and the support of the schooler team, we know this is going to be a really exciting year. So please join me in welcoming Paul to the stage.
All right, thank you, Shauna, and we're all so thankful that you're here and on the road to recovery, and that your incident wasn't more severe. So glad you're doing so well. And I'd like to just thank each of you for taking the time to be here. There was a big chamber event last night that went late, and a lot of familiar faces, including the mayor, who said, "Yes, hey, I care enough about our community to get up early this morning and come on in here." So thank you all for saying yes and joining. We have just so much positive energy in this room and in our community. So thank you. I'm happy to be here today to officially kick off this year's United Way of the Midlands campaign. My wife, Julie, and I feel so fortunate to chair this year's campaign along with the incredible team at Schooler. We're grateful to be part of such a wonderful community that answers the call and steps up to help our neighbors in need. When we come together, each of us has a role to play in what happens next in our community. That's why it's so important to have an organization like United Way. As Shauna said, the needs in our community do not stand still, and neither does United Way. Every day, United Way is working to strengthen the nonprofit sector, fill critical gaps, mobilize people to help, and connect partners and resources in ways that make our efforts go further. They are attuned to the community's evolving needs and the best ways to respond. By bringing together individuals, government, nonprofit, and businesses, United Way works to create meaningful and lasting impact. Plus, they do it with a strong commitment to stewardship. With a 93% efficiency ratio, you can be confident that your generosity is being put to work in ways that make sense and make a difference. And because you are here this morning, I believe you understand the mission and importance of this organization. So for this year's campaign, we're calling on more people and more organizations to come together and act, because meeting the growing needs in our community will take each of us. Thanks to the incredible efforts of the campaign cabinet and the United Way's donor engagement team, we have some big goals that we're going after this year, and I am confident that we will achieve them. And I'm going to share them with you now. The first goal is to secure 60 new partners who support United Way in a variety of ways, from sponsorships and good on the go projects to workplace campaigns, corporate grants, and in kind donations, and more. They all represent different ways to lean in, get involved, and give back. And the United Way makes it easy for individuals and companies to play an active role in strengthening our community. Think about the companies and leaders in your network who should be part of this work and help us make that connection. 60 new partners. It's a audacious goal, but one that I am confident we can make. And but we'll need your help. So if you could be a big advocate, voice that. It'll make a big difference. The second goal is looking to increase our bridge builder donors by 5%. With the annual gifts of 1,000 or more, this group helps fill critical gaps and strengthens the systems that hold our community together. By directing their gifts to high impact programs that align with our four pillars, they're truly making a difference for so many. And as we talk about our bridge builder goal, we really believe that this is an opportunity to build for our future. These are probably the future Tocqueville donors down the road. So we're really excited and believe this is an impactful goal to achieve. The third and final is we're going to exceed 400 Tocqueville Society members in order to achieve the Warren Buffett Challenge and unlock additional funds to support essential programs across the metro. Since its inception, Tocqueville Society members have exceeded $150 million in total contributions, and their leadership has helped create opportunity, stability, and progress across our community. As a prior board chair and current campaign chair, I am truly proud to showcase the vital role the United Way plays across the Omaha Council Bluffs Metro. When challenges grow more complex, the work we're doing together for our community becomes even more important. And through collaborations and partnerships, the United Way can deliver results at a scale and scope no other organization can achieve alone. Julie and I are honored to help lead this year's campaign and truly believe that United Way helps make our giving go further. So today we're asking you to lean in and to give, to engage your employees, make an introduction, open a door, invite someone new into this work. Every connection expands what we can accomplish together, and this is the year to build on that momentum. Now I have the pleasure of introducing our moderator and panelists for today's discussion. Our moderator is Ben Duty, executive editor of the Omaha World Herald, an experienced newsroom leader Ben joined Omaha World Herald in 2025. Over nearly 2 decades in journalism, he's held roles as a sports reporter and editor, breaking news editor, and managing editor in the newsrooms across New Jersey and Connecticut. He also spent 11 years as managing editor at Kiwi, a New York-based digital media company, where he oversaw editorial coverage and played a key role in business operations. Along with his newsroom leadership responsibilities in Omaha, Duty contributes to the World Herald's news and sports coverage as a reporter, columnist, and podcast host. We talked this morning about the power of working together. Now you'll hear what that collaboration looks like in action and how United Way connects people, partners, and resources, responds to needs, responds as needs evolve, and helps our collective efforts go further. So please join me in welcoming Ben and the following panelists to the stage. Meg Blue, Vice President, Community Investments, Johanna Fellers, Director of Community Programs, Jerry Jones, JAG Nebraska Program Manager, and Angel Shepard, 211 Community Resource Specialist. Come on up.
All right, good morning, everybody. So Jerry told me this morning that although he's got the same name as the Cowboys owner, he's not the owner of the Cowboys, but he does have the misfortune of being a long-suffering Cowboys fan. So show of hands, anyone else in the same boat as Jerry as a long-suffering Cowboy fan?
No one?
A couple? Okay.
Okay,
We
we
got
got
one.
one.
We got one.
So look, we got a great panel here. One of my biggest jobs at the World Herald is just to manage change. And that's something I'm thinking about constantly. The world is moving rapidly, and that speed of acceleration is picking up. And so I took note in Shauna's remarks, talking about increased demand, and also talking about how people can count on the work that this organization is doing and that you all are supporting. So when I think of the people up here, the people who can count on the United Way, they're counting on people like these guys up here. These people are at the front lines, delivering services, rolling with the changes, rolling with the punches, and being there for people even as this pace of change picks up. So this is a scary world sometimes. The work that you guys are supporting is propped up and supported by all these guys. So we want to help you understand why these folks got into this really compelling and valuable work, what goes into it, and then when you all are supporting this organization, what is your support going to? So I'm going to throw this out kind of open-ended. Anybody can jump in and answer this. So this is hard work. It's not for everyone, and yet you four show up every day and put a ton into it. Why did you guys opt to do this type of work?
For me, it always goes back to service and humility. I am going to talk about JAG a little bit later, but on a broader scale, I'm so thankful for the work that we get to do at United Way of the Midlands. Truly, we get to serve the entire person. So when you look at programs like 211 and you start dealing with people in crisis, you also have to think about the kids. So by the time they get to my specialist, you think about their track from where they woke up to getting to school. They've gone through a lot. And so I want to be a part of the solution. I truly do believe that the efforts and even the guiding principles of United Way of the Midlands, grit, trust, grace, and we have a couple more, but those are the ones that stick out to me. It positions us in conjunction with our partners to really do the right thing and help to see change.
Yeah, I'll just add, I think along Jerry's lines, a little bit about myself. I grew up in a family where both of my parents were nonprofit executives. I started my career in child welfare and worked in that for 11 years. My brother also worked for, actually United Way for a very long time as well. So it's kind of in the blood when you grow up in a household like that. And when you think about being able to do the most good, and to Jerry's point, really being able to serve the whole person, what better place to do that than at a place like United Way where you're able to provide for those basic needs on a day-to-day basis.
So I want to ask a couple of questions about 211. So we'll go to Angel first. Angel and Johanna both explained to me earlier they have very different roles in a really important system. So Angel first, help the people in the room understand what is 211 and what is your role in making it all work.
Okay, so I've been with 211 for about 5 years. I started when we were just a smaller helpline, and we continuously grow every day. Now we partner with the community navigators. So we do everything from helping people with rent assistance, utilities, mental health, transportation, housing needs. We honestly, there's more to 211 that I never knew about till I worked there, like what we can truly help with people. So every day we can help somebody that's in a crisis that needs utilities on for their family. We can help them get housing, transportation to go to and from work, so then that way they can continuously provide for their families. And we have now other helplines where we have the Nebraska Warm Line. So if people are going through a mental health crisis, we have Save Our Seniors for anybody 60 and older. We also have our military helpline for anybody that's in the military. Like, we continuously keep growing and expanding every day, and we're making a difference in multiple people's lives every day, not just one person. And then they tell somebody, and then it continuously grows, where we're making, last year alone, we had 380,000 contacts that we had just for 211 in Nebraska. And it's amazing the work we do every day.
Johanna, how does your work interface with what Angel's doing?
Yes, so we partner very closely hand in hand. I'm the director of community programs, so I have the privilege to lead a team of navigators. So anyone who calls into 211 is first met with a community resource specialist. But if that person needs a little bit extra assistance, maybe they need a liaison or somebody to help connect them to the resources that we're giving them, that's where my team can step in and take the next step with the client. And then on top of that, she already mentioned some of the programs that we offer through the Nebraska 211 call center. So Save Our Seniors, we're really helping those seniors that are 60 and older who've been victims of abuse or financial exploitation. And then Angel also mentioned the Military Family Helpline. So if you're have served a family member of somebody that served, we have an actual navigator who has served herself. And she's also embedded. We have to always highlight this program because it's the first of its nature, where we actually have a signed MOU with Offutt Air Force Base. So she gets to be in our call center, but then also in the Military Family Readiness Center. So we work very closely with those callers, and we make sure to close the loop. So we're making sure that they're actually getting the help they need, and we're tracking those outcomes as well. So I think that's kind of my privilege to get to work with that team, is we actually get the answer if they were helped or not.
One of the things that comes up over and over again in these conversations is supporting military families. So Jerry, I want to go to you in a second, but show of hands in the room. Any veterans or active duty military in this room? And Jerry, you come from military family? Tell us about your family background.
So my dad was Air Force, and all of my uncles are either Marines or Navy. So I grew up in Wichita, Kansas. McConnell Air Force Base was kind of our hub in terms of community. So it's really shaped not just kind of my work ethic, but any time that we can serve our veterans, that privilege is priceless.
As someone who's new to Nebraska, I've appreciated the military presence here just because they're transplants from all over the place. So you meet people from all over the country, in some cases from all over the world, and the work that you all do is supporting so many families with Offutt roots and with other military roots. So I know that we all appreciate that. Meg, let me go to you. There's so much support coming from people in this room to your organization. Give me a couple examples of how that support is showing up and helping you do your job.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say that I think that myself and my team have the best job in the organization. Our donor engagement team goes out every day and they bring the dollars in, and we get to spend it, which I like to think I'm pretty good at. But we get to partner every day with agencies that are doing incredible work. And I see so many familiar faces in this room. We have Boys and Girls Club and Child Saving Institute who are providing safe places for our youth to go during out of school hours, and just knowing how important something like that is for development and safety in our community. We have Santa Monica, who's here providing substance abuse treatment for women in our community and making sure that they're able to show up every day for their children and their families and progress their lives. We have Catholic Charities of Omaha, who is one of our only choice food pantries in this community, which is so important to just being able to walk in somewhere and have dignity in the choices that you get to make for your family about the food you put on your table. It's incredible. So thinking every day about how your dollars are able to make that impact and that difference. And this is only just to name a few folks that I've just been able to see as I've been up here, but you're truly making a huge difference in the community by trusting us to be able to invest these dollars and partner with these individuals. And I know all of them just went through end of year reporting and initial reporting in a grant cycle. So sorry to all of you. That was a rough couple months, but it's just, it's high standards that we as United Way hold so that you know that you can trust us with your treasure. And these are the folks on the ground every day doing that work for our community.
Jerry, I want to go back to you and talk about JAG. So I knew a little bit about JAG, but I probably have tripled my knowledge about it in the last half hour thanks to Jerry. So Jerry, for anyone in the room, help us understand what is JAG, what type of kids are involved in it, and what's your role in making it all come together?
Gosh, man, that was a lot. But I will just start with in terms of defining JAG. So I don't want to take for granted that everyone knows the acronym. It's Jobs for America's Graduates. Our program is also a class. It goes on our schedules for 7th through 12th grade. We have a three-pronged approach. We take project-based learning, trauma-informed care, and employer engagement. And we teach about 50 work-based learning competencies that we are pushing our students towards mastery with. So big picture, by the time they graduate with us, they should have over 50 soft skills mastered. But actually, thanks to our partners in terms of employer engagement, they should also identify the employer that they would like to work for, big picture. Currently, one of my favorite data points is we're looking at a little over 70% of our students identify at least one employer that they'd like to be a part of post-graduation. And so after that identification process, or through that identification process in terms of lifelong goals, our curriculum inherently prepares them and teaches them how to not just set goals, but pursue them and actually attain them. At this level, in this room, we are definitely professionals. But when you take into account just how things are changing and just the overall life experiences that some of our kids are having, that skill set is not inherent. And so we'll take anyone in terms of JAG. It can be for anyone. But we're looking for students who want the program, but have maybe a few barriers that they're trying to work through as well. And so our approach is, in terms of trauma-informed care, we don't necessarily ask, what's wrong with you. Our position is that everyone has a story, but that's not an excuse. You can succeed. And so based on that relationship that they're forging with us in the classroom with our specialists, in conjunction with the opportunities that we're exposing them to, they are essentially pulling themselves up by the bootstraps with help, and they're making their lives better. We also serve our students 1 year post-graduation as well. So, whether they're college-bound or if they, would like to go into the trades, we are a quality pre-apprenticeship program as well. So our position is that if you would like to be in the trades, 100% JAG should be an option for you. And so in terms of employers that we're looking for, in terms of partnership, it's kind of all hands on deck. We know that good help is hard to find. And so we're just asking for partners to help make things better.
We get a show of hands on how many parents are in the room, parents and or grandparents. A lot of people. So I've got 2 kids, just started 6th grade and 4th grade. So my oldest is a year shy of being, I think, old enough to be in the JAG program. It is not easy raising kids. I've loved raising my kids here in Nebraska. They've loved it. But at least from my perspective as a parent, I will take all the help that I can get and all the support that I can get for my 2 kids. So let me give a round of applause for Jerry and his group for just doing so much for kids.
Can I add something really quick?
Of course.
Just to give you a snapshot, we had 5,500 students served across the state last year, and we did have a graduation rate of 99%. So we know that, to get where you want to be, at the very least, you need to graduate. And so our program does work in terms of connecting those students, but also getting them to graduate as well.
If a person knows of a kid who might be a candidate for JAG or who wants to get involved, how do they do that?
So the first thing is, you need to find out if your kid's school has a program. If you identify that your program is at a particular school, to be honest, the enrollment process looks a little bit different. For example, here in Omaha, we basically recruit a year before, and those kids basically are added to a selection pool, and based on the factors of schedule, so on and so forth, and other electives that they're choosing, it could very well land on their schedule that they can take the program. But pretty much in general around the state, the student just really has to ask. Just see a guidance counselor or a JAG teacher, and they can get enrolled.
I'm going to take the opportunity, Jerry, to do some reporting on this, and I'm going to offer a shameless plug. Omaha.com, that's our website. We'll compile a list of the schools in the Omaha metro that have this program. I'll get that from Jerry, and then you all, if you're looking for the information, we'll have the information at the World Herald. That's exactly the type of stuff that we've got to be doing to connect people in this community with a lot of good information. So thank you for that. One other shameless plug, and then this is going to tee you up for something, Angel. So my entry point to the United Way world is Goodfellows, which is a program that the World Herald launched in the 1890s. The World Herald is about 140 years old. Goodfellows is almost as old as the World Herald, and the World Herald is almost as old as the city of Omaha. So there are not very many things that have been going longer than Goodfellows. In 2020, United Way stepped in as a partner and really the organization that administers this fund. So what Goodfellows does is provide one-time emergency assistance to people in the Omaha metro who need it. So these are people who have met a moment of crisis that's very far out of their control. And Goodfellows steps in and takes care of that need for those people. October 22nd, I was saying earlier, we deliberately did this on a Husker bye week, so nobody has an excuse not to go. October 22nd at Barnado, it's a Thursday night, we're going to have a benefit concert for Goodfellows. Grace Lewis, who's a reporter at the World Herald, she moonlights as a musician. She'll be one of the headline acts of this show. So October 22nd, put it in your calendar. We'll have more information for you about it when tickets go on sale, et cetera. Here's what that has to do with Angel. My understanding, or I've learned a lot about 211, many instances of people who come through the 211 system are people who are doing their best to figure things out, but something catastrophic happened. Sometimes that's an emergency weather event. Sometimes it's an unexpected health crisis. And the 211 world gets these people into the United Way system and helps all these guys be able to provide some support. So for you, Angel, give the room a couple of examples of what types of scenarios are 211 callers encountering.
Yeah, so we do everything, honestly. We could help with a lot. I'll give like one good scenario, like story. We've had before where people will call in that they're down on their luck and they need help with utilities. And in the situation, the caller that I spoke with was an elderly woman who had custody of her grandchild who was needing utilities on for medical purposes. And our job at 211 is not to judge anybody, it's to help people. Like, that is really what we're there for. And some people are so scared to even call, and we're like, we're here to help. Like, please give our number out. Please tell everybody in the community. Like, we've all probably at one point in time been down on our luck, and we're just wanting to pick them back up, because in that moment, that one assistance could make them continuously take care of something else that their family needs. So when the person called, their utilities were disconnected, and it happened to be closer to where the utility company was calling. So I reached out with the person on the line with their permission to call the utility company to see exactly what they needed in order to be able to provide to get their utilities turned back on. Because in that moment, it was in a dire need. It was almost a weekend. Like, this person could not go without utilities with their child. And what happened was the utility company said, hey, this is what we could do to get it turned back on. Like, we have to have this, like, they owe this amount, but like, if you give me this, like, we can turn it back on. I can have a technician out there. So I reached out to one of our partners. Her name's Regina. She's currently not here. She works for 211. She's the one that makes the pledges to the utility companies. I was like, hey, it's after hours. I have this person on the line. Like, she's tried everything. We've looked into all the resources. Unfortunately, like, these agencies mostly won't be open until Monday. Like, we have to help. Like, is there anything we could do? And she's like, well, let me see. What do they owe? And I was like, they haven't used Goodfellows before because it's a once-in-a-lifetime program, like you mentioned. It's to help anybody. And what she did was she called the utility company, and she's like, just have them send the documents over that's needed, because we have to have certain documents. And I walked through step by step with a person on the phone to get the documents done. Within 30 minutes, we had a technician out to that person's house in order to turn those utilities back on. That lady probably cried the most I've ever heard her. And she was just so thankful that, one, like, we weren't judgmental. Two, we helped her. And she's like, you went above and beyond. I was like, I'll stay after hours if I have to. Our program's 24 hours, if you guys don't know. We're 365 days a year. Like, I will be there to help anybody in need, because at any moment, if I had a crisis, I know that I can call my job at 211 and, like, get the support and help I need. Like, it's anybody. If any of you needed help, like, you could call. Like, we wouldn't discriminate. We wouldn't tell you, like, oh, you got it. Like, we would be there to be the person to help guide you, to get you the assistance you need. And that person, like, wrote this long email about, like, how great we were, and, like, it was just cute. And then Shauna actually ended up one time putting it in our, like, weekly newsletter about, like, the help. Like, they do little shout outs all the time to tell about, like, what we're doing to make a difference in the community every day. And it's a beautiful thing.
So there's this question that runs through this whole conversation, which is, what do you all in the room get for your support? What is your support fund? And one of the things that's clear, one of the things that it supports is no excuses.
Right.
There are so many opportunities in everything that Angel just said where you hit a wall, and many people, at least I know in many organizations, might just, sorry, I did what I could do, and the place was closed, the person didn't answer the phone, the clock ran out. And what Meg is describing is the clock's not running out. There's no excuses here. There's finding a way to all make it happen. So if you're wondering, what does my support get? Well, it gets people who are not making any excuses and who are doing everything they possibly can to deliver. So I appreciate that. Meg, let's go back to you for this. This theme of you just have to break down a lot of different barriers and figure out a lot of different tricky, challenging stuff at like an organizational level, or at least a broader level. How do you think United Way is doing on that front?
I think it's all about collaboration. It truly, I think we are very lucky to have the partners that we have in this room, whether it's our corporate partners, our nonprofit partners, but I know that based on the relationships that we have at United Way, we can go to anyone at any time, whether it's one of our corporate partners to say, you know, an example, when the SNAP shut down and the issues with food access, hey, can you get behind us to raise these funds so we can distribute them into the community and provide dollars for those that are giving that direct food access to folks who need some help. going to our nonprofit partners and saying, hey, can you get behind this? If we can get you the assistance we need. It really is, it's all about those relationships and collaborating and partnering together. I think that's how we're showing up every day, not just as United Way as an organization, but as a community.
I'm glad Meg mentioned the SNAP benefits. It gets at something I've always found really interesting in the nonprofit world and just in the charitable world in general. So government stuff gets messy. Politics, Mayor Ewing can tell you this, politics gets messy and complicated. But that's exactly why organizations like United Way and other organizations that rely on excellent, tireless workers like this, and rely on support from all sorts of different people, where you're not asking anybody what their political affiliations are. You are asking for support to make things happen. So it doesn't matter who's the governor or maybe it matters who's the mayor and some of this stuff, but which president is in power. What matters is that organizations like this and that people like our panel here are backstopping all sorts of different things and making sure that things are happening in red years or blue years or whatever else. So wanted to kind of call that out, especially since we're in an election year. Let's go back to Johanna. So I am just continuously even more fascinated by this 211 world and how much it's all working out. So 211 impacts a lot of people in multiple states is my kind of understanding of it. So Johanna, help the room if you can understand how vast is this network? How vast is the impact that 211 is able to have across the whole footprint?
Yes, we have a very large reach and we are growing still. We serve the entire state of Nebraska with our 211 contact center, the entire state of Iowa, 83, probably some more counties now in Illinois. We do Kentucky nights and weekends. We have New Hampshire, we have Nevada. So our team has grown and we are adding constantly to our arsenal, to our toolbox, and we take all those calls. Our volume goes up, but our quality stays the same. I think I can't commend the 211 team enough.
There's this theme in a lot of this stuff that we like at the World Herald that Johanna got at, which is a lot of things being built and run here in Omaha, powering a whole lot of good and a whole lot of activity in a whole lot of different places. So maybe a big round of applause for just Omaha and the Omaha Metro being able to do that. There's a lot of stuff happening here. A lot of stuff happening here. Jerry, back to you. These kids, 7th grade through 12th grade, I want to ask you about a stat that I found kind of amazing. 99% graduation rate. Give the room a little bit of more of an understanding of, it's not obvious to me that that would be the case. You know, kids face all sorts of different challenges. So how does JAG set this program up in such a way that leads to a 99% graduation rate for these kids?
On one side, when you look at our curriculum and compare it to the traditional classroom, project-based learning at its core is giving the student the keys to drive their own education. In most other classes, and this is, I was a former teacher, so please don't misinterpret what I'm about to say, but I think you have to recognize that our schools are overcrowded. There's a heavy need, just in terms of in general, with people in general, but 7th through 12th grade, they have a lot of just life happening. And so in tandem with the project-based learning, we have a trauma-informed care approach. Our class sizes are smaller, so our students are able to actually have more of essentially a one-on-one with that individual that's teaching them. I'm of the belief that the foundation of everything is a relationship, and that is the power that's driving not just the student relationship, but the student experience. And then I know I talked about employer engagement as well. I really don't want to minimalize how important our partnerships are. because within our curriculum, our employers are woven into it. So there are pits and stops where students should be out in the community, either exercising, civic duty, just exposing themselves to different careers. My point in all of this is JAG is that home, that place for a lot of our kids. I'm not gonna lie to you, JAG probably won't fit every kid, just like every business is probably not a good fit for everyone, which is why we partner with other services that provide similar services, so there's no duplication there. Our goal in whatever district we're partnering with, we all have the same mission. We just have a different way of, helping the kids get along. The finish line, across the finish line, but also, I think there's a point of being self-aware that's engraved in our curriculum as well. So when you look at the portrait of the graduate, yes, they have the degree, but can they navigate their trauma and the life that's happened to them since birth to the point that you get them if you're an employer? It's not necessarily enough to stay at a job. We want them to like that job, but also they've got to be able to navigate what's inside as well. So if I'm trying to say anything, the balance between trauma-informed care, project-based learning, and employer engagement, that's what sets us apart. I know I talked about how we serve them 1 year post-graduation as well. That's a game changer as well, because when you look at other community partners, that's not necessarily the case. They don't necessarily have the resources or the time to invest after graduation has happened. We do, and we'll capitalize that. But the truth is, we need help. So whether it's your time, your talent, your treasure that you're providing United Way, within the context of JAG, that's where it's going.
So my last question in any interview is always, what did I forget to ask? What else do you want to add that maybe I missed? So we got probably 5 minutes left. Let's go down the row here, starting with Angel. Angel, what else do you want to add that we haven't talked about already?
I don't know if there's not too much that we haven't talked about. We just need people to really put the information out there, spread 211. A lot of people aren't aware of the program. Just spread it, so then that way the more it's put out there, the more community members we can help. And with your guys' support of reaching out and spreading the information, that's great for my job to help people. Without people knowing about it, I can't help people. So the more you guys talk it up and spread the news, we're willing to help anybody in need. And we need you guys to keep spreading the word of the good that we are doing. So then when people call in and need help, we might not be able to help them right away at that moment, but we could also give them other resources that might be able to help in a different way that they might not even know that they're out there. So we just need you guys to continuously spread the word and give back to the community as much as you can, because it makes a difference in everybody's life every day.
Okay, thank you, Angel. How about you, Jerry?
I know a young man who, without getting into the nitty-gritty of his life, for lack of better words, he's been shown that I regret the day that you were born. And essentially he's had very little help in terms of what are you going to do after high school? We connected that student with a phenomenal specialist. I'm not going to name the school. He was a junior at the time. And through this connection and really buying into the JAG advantage and our mission, he spent the summer at Tarkio Tech. And he's going to, I believe he's done at this point, but he's finished the summer with more than 1 national welding certificates. And this is as he's transitioning into his senior year. My hope is that with the time we have left with him, that he can identify an apprenticeship program that he would like to enroll in, that he'll finish, and that he'll have the life that he deserves.
Make it hard to top that one, but there's a slide up here that's been playing with all of the partnership logos of all of the programs that United Way of the Midlands has to offer. So if anything, that's just kind of my piece to you all is many of you are partners with us and you help make that work happen. But I don't think a lot of people know of all of the programs that United Way has to offer. So I implore you to look into them, tell people about Save Our Seniors, tell people about the Nebraska Warm Line. We're looking to help families. I echo everything that Angel has said. The work doesn't happen without you all.
I think I'll just kind of close us with, times are hard. Housing is at a low supply, so folks are in shelter for longer periods of time. Food access is dwindling. We have families who are trying to provide every day who are at risk of losing their Medicaid, Medicare benefits, and everyone in this room plays a role in making sure that folks are receiving fair and equitable access to the services that they need every day. So I think I would just end this with thank you for whatever role any of you play, whether it's through your direct work or through donating or volunteering. It all makes a difference. So we just appreciate you being here and being a part of this and walking this with us.
Round of applause for the whole panel. So thank you, and I think with that, we'll bring back Shauna.
Please give them another round of applause. Thank you, Ben, for taking the time, for being in our community, kind of relatively short period of time. You've really immersed yourself and appreciate the partnership. As you can tell, I work with some really amazing people. They choose to lean into this work. They care deeply about others. And for us to really address some of the challenges that working families are seeing in our community, it's going to take all of us. So thank you to Paul for jumping in and not running away after being my boss for a year. Still going to tell me what to do here on the campaign trail. Thanks to the board. Board, raise your hand. Really lucky to have all of you here with us today. I think what you heard today is just a great example how we put insight into action. We bring together partners in new and innovative ways, building public-private partnerships to fill critical gaps, investing in effective nonprofit programs across the metro, and creating initiatives that respond to needs as they emerge. It's that collaboration looks like United Way. That's what collaboration looks like here at United Way. Understanding where the needs and opportunities are, bringing the right people and resources to the table, and working together to achieve results that none of us could accomplish alone. So I know everyone in the room took away something meaningful from your words and leaving with a deeper appreciation of why this work matters and the impact we're making in people's lives right across our community. And with the continued support from all of you, we can keep turning our caring for community into results that will make a difference right here. We need you to carry today's energy forward and to be a champion for United Way, to bring United Way into conversations with your colleagues, and to network and invite someone to volunteer, give, or be part of this work. We're going to make a really stronger community if we all do our part. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for caring about the community, and thank you for your partnership. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and here's to an amazing campaign.